Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on November 11th, 2023 at approximately 4:37 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the same tools I use in my own day to day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the philosophies I actually live my life by. Now, before I get into this is Remembrance Day, and I'll tell you, actually, before I say another word, welcome aboard, football. You have the gold. And got a very important question for you. Can you actually hear me right now? As you can see, things have changed. I'm just curious if I'm actually being picked up at all for the moment. Because I don't have the ability to look at what my screen is and what your screen is doing. Perfect. In case you had noticed, things have changed drastically. I had a bit of a hiccup. My hand spasmed. I've shown you the way that works before. My hand spasmed, and a cup of black coffee. Welcome aboard, Emmy. You have the silver. My hand spasmed, and my coffee decided it was going to go onto my computer. So my computer, which was having trouble in the first place, decided it was going to have a hiccup. And, well, it drank a cup of coffee. As you can well imagine, the computer's not working that well. And Joe, you are in with the bronze. So we can thank Frank very, very much. Frank comes in here periodically. We can thank Frank very much for being able to go online at all today, because he managed to help me get this computer. This is the old one I was using, which is why I'm up front on my dining room table right now. Oh, and both kids are gone, so I'm on my own here. Cowie, what do we got? Cowie, you are in with honorable mention. So if we seem to have a little bit of a discrepancy, as in the back end and that sort of thing of the house, this is actually the front end of my apartment. Okay, but, well, if you want to remember a day to remember, this would be it. Now, of course, my biggest problem here, I'm going to see if the other one works. I'm going to grab my other glasses, because these are the ones I usually work, but I'm sitting back a little from it. So give me half a second, and I'll be right back. And we are back. See if that helps. Not a whole lot. So if I miss things in the chat room today, that would be why. But I'm going to do my best. See if something will work. But today is absolutely a bit of a shambles. Robert, how you doing? Glad you could make it. Oh yeah, Emmy, I really do. And to make matters worse, when I went to go and double check and make sure my email was working, or when I went to log into YouTube, rather. Okay, while I'm typing, I set the cursor where it belongs to type in a new password, and I kid you not, it was entering it backwards. It was entering it from right to left. Or sorry, from left to right. I hit the first new key for the password, and it would move it to the left, meaning it went in completely backwards. Got that straightened out. Do not ask me how. I don't know how I got it screwed up in the first place. Let's just see who all we got in here. Oh, where's my mouse? There. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, and sometimes you have to do that. In my case, I can walk by a computer and scramble the poor thing. What do we got here? Just seeing if I missed anybody. But yeah, computers and I mean, if you want a day to remember, this one would be it. So my boys, my boys are both out of the house tonight. So I decided I was just going to fire from here because, well, frankly, trying to set everything up in back, the way I look at it is this. Absolutely not. No, no, no. You're okay. There's a couple of things you got in football. The Bigfoot it just has normal fingernails, very much like a human does. Your aura, on the other hand, and thank you for reminding me of that while I'm upgrading everything, or not the aura, rather the Telepy. Now, why am I pulling a blank? That really annoys me. I'm pulling a total blank on a name, which gives you an idea how well this rattled me. But no. Now I gotta go get the book because I frankly am pulling an absolute blank and it's annoying me. Tell you what, scramble a day for me, that'll do it. Yeah, pretty much, but not quite. What am I looking for here? I'll tell you, I'm pulling an absolute 100% blank, which just annoys the heck out of me. Close, the Wara. There we go. And of course, I don't have that here either. Jumping Jiminy, I'm in a shambles. Of course, in all fairness, I blew the computer apart about 2 o'clock when I should have been just getting things set up. Okay, so we have that and that works. But no, the Wara are actually, they actually do have the talons. Like I said, there's a lot of information that I've got to upgrade. Sorry, they are called claws. I looked that up. I was looking to see. I actually went on the internet and went, okay, what is the difference between a talon and a claw? They're the same thing, except a talon is hooked, like the birds have talons. Okay, and the raptors have talons. Animals that have a straight claw are just called claws. Now, what do we got? Okay. Chickens have talons. They are and it's called a talon. On birds, it's called talons. On most animals, they're claws or hooves, depending. This is something I had to go back and double check. Yeah. Sorry, guys. And yeah, I had this this is my hand trying to actually focus on it. So as you can tell, not working well. But my coffee cup survived. Yeah, so no, all in all, I went to get things set up, and my hand all of a sudden goes kabang, and the coffee goes up against the computer. Now, remember I mentioned one of the monitors was starting to collapse. Where are we here? Yeah, one of the monitors was starting to collapse. It survived, sort of, but I'm going to be replacing it anyway. But I didn't know what all was going on. I knew this one of the other computer was starting to have trouble. You know, welcome to modern technology for me. In any event, what I've got is I'm using the old computer. Okay, but I've ended up having to move up front. What do we got? Well, Big J, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And Sovereign, what do we got? Sovereign Cosmic Wildman, how you doing? Let us see. Yeah, well, sometimes things happen, and the nice little part about it is I call this live for a reason. I don't go back in and edit things; it's just not necessary. Well, it is, but the way I look at it, if you call a stream live stream, editing seems to be somewhat wrong. But we could have had the other problem. That could have waited until I could have got everything online and then had my hand spasm. At which point we'd had a heck of a problem. Now, yeah, no doubt there. So no, the monitor on the laptop is now shot. Okay, and since it was having trouble anyway, instead of trying to get it reworking, it's shot. I'm going to throw the second monitor out. Okay, the one that it was already starting to melt on me. And I'm just going to upgrade the whole system. The nice part about this whole thing, the computer was dying anyway, and I just cleared off all of my credit. Meaning, I actually have enough. This is useless information for you, but I do not like a hair in front of my eyeball, in case you're wondering. I've actually got more room on more credit room than I used to make in 6 months. That I used to actually earn in 6 months. So I'm sitting good on that end. But I'll be upgrading. I will be getting an independent, external camera as well. So hopefully you guys are seeing this reasonably well. Now, the thing is, when I decided I was going to look at Remembrance Day, I figured, what the heck? Let's take a look at this and go. Everybody talks about Remembrance Day. Let's remember remember our military on the 11th of November. This is a brilliant idea. But why not the other 364 days of the year? Or do they just cease to exist? Let me see if I'm just curious if I've got actual view of what's going on with you guys. That's live stream. So if we go, I don't want to go there. I want to go home. What I'm looking for is to see what your stream is showing. Well, go back to home. I don't need that. Thank you very much. Here, let's see if that works. If I seem a little discombobulated today, that makes total sense to my way of thinking. Okay, because right about now, my day more. Whoop. Oh, that's because I wasn't saying anything. Can't hear anything. Whoa. Well, I'm not hearing anything on mine, but that's okay. Presumably, you guys are hearing fine. Okay, now, what do we got here? Chad, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Am I not getting monitor at all? Oh, there we are. I'm trying to get something to work here that is just looking a little screwy today. And of course it is. But, well, today's going to be scrambled anyway. If I drop off, if my volume drops off or you can't hear me all of a sudden, do me a favor and let me know in the chat room because I got no way of gauging it right now. But, like I've always said, I definitely support the people that, are veterans, the people that have stepped up to the front to protect their family, their neighborhood, their country. But we got one day of the year when we actually are talking about that, where we go, oh, this is Remembrance Day. What about the other 364? I mean, this is where it's just absolutely bizarre. And I have no idea why that is not giving on my end. That makes no sense. Oh, I know why it won't give on my end. So that's okay. We're just going to ignore that. I'm not going to have that option today, apparently, because with the mic plugged in, as long as you guys can hear me, I can work with it. But and I will apologize because right now trying to get multiple things going on this computer is a pain in the neck. But, absolutely one thing that I do want to point out. Okay, why does that not look like my mic is working? Are you guys still hearing me? I don't know if you are. So we'll do it this way. Oh, perfect. Because I got no way of my mic is only showing one bar. You know, so it boils down to I've got no way of seeing if it's actually doing what it should be, which I don't get. Oh, there we go. Now it's changing. And we're going to have one of these neat little fun things of the whole day is going to be a scramble on here. But when it comes to, every day when you think about it should be remembered, at least every good day. And, the one thing I have found out is that way too many people create a problem that is not necessary. Okay, as in they focus on the whole concept of what went wrong. You want to hear something absolutely appalling? We had apparently we had Remembrance Day ceremonies downtown. Fine, they can be down. I remember in my own fashion, but there was warning that there were going to be protesters at the Remembrance Day ceremony downtown. Now, I don't know about you, but from my standpoint, this is just a plain appalling display of stupidity. And like I said, I've got all the respect in the world for the people in any country, standing up to defend their families, their neighborhoods, their country. Absolutely. But Always, always, always. Karmic law number 2. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Okay. Well, if a Remembrance Day ceremony or some sort of celebration is happening in your country or in your area, what recognizing the people that have sacrificed so much. Sometimes, thankfully, I'm speaking really well today. In case you couldn't tell, thankfully, most people only lose time, but we lose thousands of people to bullets and what have you. And unfortunately, these people have apparently decided, I don't know if it went off that way, but these people have decided that putting a protest in place during the Remembrance Day ceremony was a good thing. To me, this is an appalling display. Oh, absolutely, there's Joe. That was one of those somebody asked me about sitcoms. That was one of the few I actually did watch. What have we got here? The neat little part about it, MASH really did do a lot because it showed the other side of it. Sovereign, yeah, Sovereign's just going. They usually steal blue jeans. How you doing, Wyatt? Glad you could join us. You know, I just about didn't make it today. And really a big thank you for you guys that did show up. Unfortunately, because of the amount of trouble I'm having with the computer, my normal routine of putting chat rooms up that other people have a live stream from, I'm not taking a chance and playing with a whole lot. Not right now. You know, but the fact my computer is working, that this computer worked at all. This is the old one I was using. Right. The only difference is it happens to have I've got the external speaker. I will be getting when I upgrade the computer now, I will be getting an external, camera as well. Hopefully, that will improve the image. Matter of fact, if I get a picture of somebody else, that'll probably improve the image too, but that's just me. But, the reality of it is when I ran into the problem with the computer, like, this is one of those Remembrance Days that's going to stand out, not because it was going to stand out anyway. Shadow, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I mean, I do recognize Remembrance Day, just I have a tendency of remembering our veterans and our first responders every day. But when I heard there was gonna be demonstrations at the downtown core today, okay, where they were having the actual ceremonies, to me, that was going to be a real negative taint to it. Nice, Sovereign. This is see, I told you this was gonna be a date array. This is going to be a Remembrance Day special. The odds are everybody's going to remember this one. But I thought it was going to be one of these days that you look back on 2023 and you go, okay, the big event was that we had a whole pile of people apparently getting set to protest. Now, I mean, I'm amazed they weren't protesting about the rain. But as it turns out, this is also the day my computer died. Fortunately, I've actually got the credit. I can go out and get a replacement computer. I'm still gonna stick with an IBM. I'm still gonna stick with a laptop. Okay, simply because if you have a problem, you fold the thing down, you walk off, you don't lose anything. my backup system for the writing I do, I took to a simple case of save it to a zip drive, then save it back onto the computer and work off the computer. I did that every time I was working. So if I've lost anything, there's very minimal that I lost. Somehow Cosmo, Sovereign, somehow, no, wait a minute. That's football. Football goes, I heard a story of a dog man wearing a gold necklace. I am no dog man expert by any functional stretch. But I will tell you, I've never even heard of them wearing clothing, never mind jewelry. So that one, maybe it was true. I mean, the fact I haven't heard of it does not amount to much when we're talking dog. Donna, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Well, today is a little bit of a scramble. Yo, oh, okay. See, like I said, this is why I fully admit Dogman, I'm not overly familiar with. One day I should probably look into it. Yeah. You know, see the neat little I'm just looking at the spelling that that you've used there, football for armor. I never know whether OUR is so-called American writing or Canadian writing. I have always spelt it AMOR. But then I seem to jump between Canadian, American, and Old English. Seems to just be a normal way for me. But, for me, I was worried in a sense that the big memory was going to be, oh, there's reports of demonstrations going on at a memorial service, uh, at a Remembrance Day service. It's really that's what a Memorial Day is, or what a Remembrance Day service is. Um, Joe, the answer to that is 100%, and I don't do that often. Absolutely, there is a very high probability. If your home life is scrambled, if your home life is stressful, your biomagnetic field is going to rise. Never will interrupt electronic field. In my house, it just seems to be a normal thing. Today, it has a little bit of help. You know, which is a scary thought. In my case, this is just plain normal, but I will tell you, if it hadn't been for Frank, who shows up in here periodically, I don't know if him or, if Frank is in, I'm watching for him, but you can literally thank Frank for stepping up to the plate and helping get everything up and running in time. Yes, I was late today, but I'm surprised I'm here at all. Well, Big J might, but here's the kicker. I'm on a laptop, and you don't want me opening a laptop to apply anything. I tried cooling it off. I tried cooling off my laptop. I took a whole cup of cold coffee and poured it on the thing. It did not help. Farron, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I did not actually see you come in. The unfortunate part for me is computers have an argument anyway. The one thing I do want to point out, though, we have a lot, and when I say we, I do not just mean the American people, the Canadian people. I don't mean any country in particular. There's a lot of people caught up in this whole war, in everything going on, and a lot more that have been caught up in the past. Now, with that in mind, it is very imperative. Now, it's wonderful. Everybody says, let's have a moment of silence at 11:11. It's a great move. Pick the time 11:11. But, the reality is because of the time difference, it doesn't all happen as everybody doing it at the same time anyway. Therefore, if you have a moment to just, if you have a minute to just sit there and quietly remember that went on that fought to provide the world that you have right now, to provide you that opportunity. Okay, you know, even if it's not at 11:11, let's say you missed 11:11 for whatever reason. Okay, whatever time of day it is, maybe it's 3:12. Okay, take a minute to remember. Okay, take a minute to remember the peace that we can have if we choose to work together. The reality of it is, I don't know how many of you guys are veterans, okay, or are first responders, but the same thing applies. Still, absolutely hats off to all of you. If you're enlisted, if you're retired, it doesn't matter, or if you're reserved, it doesn't matter. Okay, if you're reaching out to help people in need, if you're reaching out to help people that are having a problem, you guys deserve a pat on the back. Each and every one of you. Okay. That's just the reality of it. And no matter what time of day, take a minute. It's not a lot of time. Okay. It really isn't a lot of time out of your day. Take a moment to listen, to just think about, and quite frankly, be thankful for, assuming you like your life, the life that you've got the opportunity to live because of the sacrifice these people have made. Okay, now I never was in the military. I was a military brat because my father and all of his brothers and his sister all ended up in the military, as did all of my grandparents. They wouldn't let me into the military. In all fairness, I didn't really want to go. I'm not good with the idea of killing people. Think about it. Now, if I'm right, that's another issue. But, the Canadian military had this thing about automatic weapons and epileptics. Something about the kill ratio. I don't know. The same government, though, turned around and authorized the training of a clinical paranoid schizophrenic. Now, granted, they said he was undiagnosed. But you have to ask yourself this: is it hard to figure out there was something wrong with a gentleman's thinking process if he starts blowing things up at 8 years old? Okay, to my way of thinking, this is a bit of a hiccup. Joe, that is fantastic. Joe goes, Joe goes. I heard from all my spirit guides today, except the older female and the young female. Now, I gotta ask you, Joe, have you taken a head count yet to find out how many of these people are finally stepping into the room to help you? What have we got? Football goes, oh, that was from before. The reality is I've spent most of my day, aside from when I've been fighting with my computer, and most of that I've been letting somebody else fight with. When my computer took a bath, you know, as Frank put it, Frank turns around and goes, "Yeah, your computer was having trouble. It was dying slowly, so you just helped it and drown the thing." I will tell you, coffee may make you guys feel better. And certainly, I enjoy the flavor. My computer did not like the flavor, like the coffee. I didn't put sugar in. I didn't put cream in. It should have been fine, but apparently, the coffee was a little much for it. And by the way, something I should inform you guys of: there is a group in the Galactic Consortium referred to as Radio Command. Now, as you can well imagine by that kind of a name, Radio Command is the communications hub that the consortium utilizes. But they have taken to do the same thing because they handle all of the war correspondents, all of them how they chatter when they're dealing with a conflict, when they're dealing with problems. Radio command handles the whole 9 yards. And these guys have literally done something that is absolutely astounding. Okay. They took a look at what they've taken a look at what we do and what we on Earth do for our military with that moment, with that minute of silence. And they've gone, okay, we're going to do this. Even if they've got a war going on, they go, nope, we're just taking this minute and we're shutting down the communication lines for a minute. Right. They don't disconnect anybody, they just don't respond for a minute. And as they put it, remembering their military, because they've got friends as well. It's not like these people have no compassion for anybody. Even the most volatile race has compassion for their own people. You know, but I've been asked a lot of times, you know, does it is our yeah, this is good English. But we do speak gooder English later. But I keep getting asked, are they actually getting anything from us? Well, if there's one thing they did pick up was the importance of this 1 minute of silence for the fallen people, for the people that have given everything, often at the expense of everything. Okay, they finally started to pay attention to that side of it. Okay, but they've taken that right from our world. And now what they're doing is turning around and going, okay, let's look at the people that really did survive, that really did point things out. Okay. Now I get, I'm just watching our count here. We are down to 7 in the room, which in all fairness is not surprising. Again, though, guys, even though we are looking at remembering the people that have gone on before, remember, if you do have a question, even if it's not on that topic, come right out and ask. Put the question in all caps. Okay, all caps, partial caps, even that wavy hand would be greatly appreciated. That way I can find it. Because I will tell you, today has been a bit of a scramble job. Now, what is going on? Got nothing moving there. That's okay. Again, if you do like the stream, do give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylight out of the thing. That would be really appreciated. But we have an opportunity right here, right now, where we can actually start, where we can continue turning the tide of what's going on with this world. We do not have to focus on the negative things that are going on. They do happen, do not get me wrong. But this is not a question of not being able to do something to change it. It just depends on what we decide to teach the next generation coming up behind it. Now, notice something here. Where are we here? You know, one of the things I have always found, okay, is the number of people, the way that society has gone. Many people forget about what has been done to get us here. Okay, and this is the one thing that does bother me with the whole thing around veterans. Isn't you veterans? It's not those of you that step up to the plate and say, "Hey, yes, I'm going to war because I'm doing it. I believe I'm protecting my country, my community, my family." The thing I have a problem with, and a very big problem, is the ones that put on a jacket, or they end up, however they come across them, with military garb, and they start claiming that they're a veteran, so they should get special treatment. You know, that I believe the United States calls it stolen valor, if I'm correct. World, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I'm gonna apologize, world. Usually, I put the lines your link and the link of everybody into the chat room. Today, we are working on a different computer because it turns out, much as I like coffee, and I believe you do, it turns out the computers do not like black coffee. Mine ended up with a full cup today and is no longer working. Yeah, it's having a bit of a bird. Caffeine overload or something to that effect. So what we like, I'll be back afterwards, but right now, my my computer, my desk, and my chair are all a little damp to be sitting on. Couldn't be sitting on the desk anyway, but at least everything worked. And again, thankfully Frank was able to get this system up and running. But the people that are going out claiming to be veterans and saying you should treat me better, you should give me these perks, I should get this for free. No, you really shouldn't. Okay, and I'm not going to say what I think should happen to them. But for those of you that are actually veterans, and have put your time in, this does not mean you ended up getting shot. This means you got up, got into your military of your own country, wherever that is. I'm not picking sides in the war. In my opinion, every war is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of effort. Okay. And the reason I say is because war has never brought peace in any world, in any time. War doesn't bring peace. This does not mean the people stepping up to the plate to defend us. I am so thankful myself that people have stepped up to the plate. And here's one you won't hear many, well, I haven't heard many Canadians say, but yeah, obviously you thank the military in your own country. Okay. I absolutely have a problem with war. About 15, 20 years ago, I heard a statistic that apparently 15, 20 years ago, apparently the United States had been at war with somebody in the world for all but 7 years of its existence. Now, to me, this is appalling. However, if it were not for you guys stepping up where things get sour, who knows what language we'd be speaking? Okay. I mean, there's a lot to be said against war, but those of you that have stepped up to the plate, from my standpoint, I'm Canadian. I do not agree with war, period. I cannot be more, I can't be more direct than that without actually starting to swear about it. But this is literally to those of you that are listening from the States, and for that matter, those of you in England I've run, okay, that stepped up to the plate to defend world peace. Now, it's really weird. We go into war, you go into war looking for peace. I'm not sure, but I think there's a bit of a conflict of interest here. However, at least I don't have to pick up a gun. I don't have to worry about, this. I don't have to worry about a problem. I worry a lot about it anyway. What do we got? World goes, it's Bigfoot hoaxers who do the stolen valor thing too. They steal other people's evidence and put it out as their own. Yeah. And again, this is appalling their world. And again, I'm a firm believer what should happen to them, but I'll leave that to their imagination. Think of it this way. Some of you have read the Yldrbac Chronicles, know the way that I can write where it comes to retaliation. Okay. And from that standpoint, pretty big trouble. And all of these things, whether we're talking the people that steal the evidence for Bigfoot, the scientists that steal the evidence or the research data in order to claim the discovery of their own. This is just wrong. And this is one of the other factors that I look at and go, look, I'm gonna tell you, I don't have the knowledge. Okay, I do not go out in the bush, thank God, to go hunting, to go looking around for Bigfoot. I don't go out in the bush, out in the street to go looking around looking for missing cat. Okay, but for the people that do go out there to do so and put their time into it, you know, the closest is look at you guys that are here and say, "Thank you so much for your effort." Whatever you're up to, wherever in the world you are, even if you happen to be on the opposite side of war, both sides are losing, no matter who actually, if you will, wins. Both sides just okay. One thing I did okay, that I found rather fascinating was I believe it was World War One. On Christmas Day, both sides without a ceasefire being called, put down their weapons, they crossed the front line, crossed no man's land, and sat down and had Christmas together. Now, to me, this is really no commanding officer said anything. Okay. As a matter of fact, from what I gather, some of the commanding officers who were on the front line joined them in an impromptu, non-declared, ceasefire. Now, to me, this is brilliant, but it shows that people on even opposite sides can get along. It's been done. Okay. This is what I would absolutely love to see happen. Okay, what never made sense, bear in mind, I remember World War I. Okay. My last lifetime, I was actually active in World War One. But, where yeah, world's just here. Even when you know most Bigfoot are non-aggressive, it's still pretty creepy and often dangerous because of weather, terrain, and other local critters. Yeah, absolutely. You know, Bigfoot themselves, Sasquatch themselves, is not the biggest complication. Okay, it really isn't the biggest complication you run into. Okay, what you're dealing with what you're dealing with is a situation is difficult. And for those of you researchers that are out there, and obviously this definitively applies to you, so much for doing the research that you have. The research I've done is pretty much non-existent, unless you count first. Okay, but to find the corroborating evidence, oddly enough, the information that you and people like you world have come up with has simply served to corroborate what I've already gone through, which helps me know that I'm not completely off my nut. I don't know if that's misinterpretation on my part, but I can work with it. I know I've got 3 shrinks that have told me I'm perfectly fine. But with that in mind, I'm not about to pick up a gun and go out and shoot somebody. Okay? First of all, I'm a firm believer, that doesn't accomplish much. Although I did tell the cop one day, I actually stopped by he was parked. I stopped by him and at the police station, and I asked him, I said, "Excuse me, officer." He's got 2 other officers with him. He goes, "Yeah?" I said, "Can I ask you a question?" Yeah, so I'd like to ask you a rather important question to me. He goes, "Okay, what is it?" I says, "Why don't you guys just shoot criminals?" And he looks at me and he goes, well, because he's looking at his 2 compatriots. He goes, "Well, it doesn't deter other criminals from breaking the law." I says, "No, but it will cut down on repeat offenders." And the poor guy just looks at me, and his 2 friends are looking at me, and the guy goes, "You know, the best lawyer on the planet would have a hard time arguing that point." You know, do not get me wrong, people make mistakes. Okay, they absolutely do. Lord knows I've made more than my fair share. but and you don't shoot somebody for making a mistake, but people are going out and I'm a firm believer this whole thing, you know, there's this neat thing, let's put people in jail. Why? Okay, especially where it comes to the minor okay, like, for instance, stolen valor, well, I have a little bit of a problem with this. Okay, those people and we're talking about Remembrance Day, so I am referring specifically to the people that are, that are stealing valor of the military. I'll get to the ones that are stealing the effort and the wor and the taking credit for other people's findings in just a moment. But for those of you that are stealing military valor saying, "I went to war. I should be treated better. Give me a discount because I went to war and I'm a veteran." Those people, I'm a firm believer, do not, do not arrest them and put them in jail. Okay? Absolutely. And this is gonna sound really cold, and in the dead of winter, it's guaranteed to be really cold. I don't care what your reason for claiming to be in the military, and this is just my personal opinion, okay? Absolutely, Big J. Water should always be free. If somebody is stealing military valor and saying, "Hey, I was in the war, treat me better," and especially if they're wearing fake metal. Absolutely, I figure arresting them, saying this person got arrested for stealing valor for stolen valor. I think this is absolutely a crime in itself. Why give them recognition at all? Take the stuff that they're wearing away. I don't care what they're wearing in protest, okay? I mean, well, personally, I make sure they got some clothes on. But those can be gotten out of Salvation Army or something to that effect. But take their military stuff that they're wearing that is not theirs by right, okay? Remove that. Do not put them in jail because then they're getting food for free and you're still paying for them. Now, that said, those of you that have served and are running into a hard time, you guys, quite frankly, should be right near the front of the list for getting help. Not the ones that are going, you know, "Oh, I'm suffering from PTSD because I was in the military." Guy or girl never set foot on a military base, never mind in a war. Okay? To me, this is an absolute crime, okay? And should not be recognized by the media coming out saying, "This guy got arrested for stealing and for stolen valor." I don't know if they even do that in all fairness, I don't watch the news. But that said, okay, shift gears half a moment. For those that are stealing other people's evidence, okay, if they're stealing other people's evidence, clearly just claiming they stole it is gonna be a bit of a problem. But for those people that can prove it, as in, "Here's the documentation, here's the photograph of the fact I had it before they did." Okay, if you can prove it, absolutely plaster it all over the internet and go, "This person claimed he was doing this, and here's the absolute proof he didn't do it." And how about if we get away from the idea of, "Oh, it can be fake, the information can be fake." All kinds of information can be fake. But, again, karmic law is simple. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Okay? This is something that is so important in my eyes that if somebody does something, if it's good, give them a big pat on the back, absolutely announce it to the world. Okay? If they do something bad, quietly deal with it. Do not make a big scene of it, and that applies to every industry and every transgression, if you will. Okay. Now, the coffee is actually just over there, so I'm not gonna be very far. In fact, the one advantage of being up here, you can still hear me going for coffee. somehow I don't think the mic actually heard that, as in me pouring the coffee. But I look at this whole issue of what are we going to choose to remember? Like of today, for instance. Now, today's list is Remembrance Day, but like I said, I have a tendency of remembering it pretty much 24/7. Well, not when I'm asleep. I usually forget a lot of things when I sleep. But when I'm awake, I do tend to remember things. I do tend to remember that side of it. Now, Big J brought up a point here. He goes, "Water should always be free." It absolutely should, okay? But then in all fairness, in my opinion, there should be no, we look at the free there, water is provided naturally. Food is provided naturally. Why are certain foods being actually listed as illegal? Not because they're bad for you. Okay. I'm just reading what Big J is writing in here. Because I'm gonna give him a minute to finish his entry so I can see what he was told. You know, Speaking of that, there was a gentleman I used to know. I don't know what I never did know what his last name was. He used to live above me. Okay. And for those of you veterans that are out there that were on, and this will be definitely people that are older than I am, clearly. Let's see, what do we got? I believe, yeah, Joe's just saying, I believe the Vietnam War was the worst war we've had just because I've watched YouTube videos of the men in the 70s and older tell their story. They went through hell. They absolutely did. Missouri man, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Man, that came out really terrible. Oh, I misread that. Missouri man goes impersonating a citizen veteran impersonating a citizen veteran American should result in deportation. And then what's the punishment for pretending to be friendly while at war? No, here's the thing. Being friendly while at war should be applauded, in my opinion. War has and people can disagree with me all they desire. Okay. Um, you know, but war itself has never brought peace. And what I was saying is I taught, and I will get to you in just half sec there, big. There was a guy that used to live upstairs from me. Okay. He was on he was on Normandy Beach on D-Day. And for those of you that either were there or knew people that were there, most of the movies I've seen regarding D-Day show, the people rushing to get onto the into cover, get off the boat. Right, and stopping to pick up their friends. Well, I'm telling you, Al used to tell me he was in tears while he was talking to me about this. Okay, because he was there. And like he said, the movies are great. They show a fabulous thing. But he says the reality is, I know he says when we went to get onto the beach on Normandy Bay, right on Normandy Beach there, he goes, none of us ran back to get our friends. We ran for cover. We fought the war. When we took Normandy Beach, only then and only then did we go back and hope we found our friends still alive. He goes, "A lot of them actually drowned because they couldn't get out of the water because they'd been shot so bad, and nobody could pick them up. Because if you stopped to pick people up and drag them with you, you were shot." Okay, didn't work out all that well. And for those of you that have lost people in that situation or any situation, okay, no matter which side of the war you're on. I don't agree with war in the first place, which is why I say no matter which side of the war. I will not say one side was better than the other. Okay, I really won't. Which probably upsets some people. Okay, now it's I was looking at this here, Missouri Man, when I first read that, because this monitor isn't as good as okay, war is big money, but here's the kicker, the people fighting the war don't make the money. Okay, back in the Middle Ages, when a king said, "We're going to war," the king was right there in the front of the war. Okay, in today's world, they sit in their cute little cubby holes and go, "I'd like to go to war. Excuse me, would you go shoot somebody that I don't like?" This is just blanketly wrong. In my eyes, this could not be much wrong, okay, because the people that are actually putting their lives on the line are not the ones being paid, okay, and the people that are coming home from the war are being treated so bad. It's all you really question what was the point in coming home, or for that matter, what was the point in going out there? You know, the reality of it is, where are we here now? Big J's going, Platoon is favorite movie. Platoon was well done, okay, but, the sad part is, and I know this from personal experience with other movies, if you have, uh like, I watch a World War One movie where they're using mustard gas, and it doesn't matter what the movie, I can't tell you which one was what. I can tell you back in my last lifetime, I was right smack in the middle of that whole event, developing mustard gas to start. In Beowulf, they say the king doesn't do battle in war. Yeah, but in reality, the king was always out in the front. He wasn't front line, granted, but he was on the front. Okay, and, the big thing there, what have we got? Military industrial complex and the tank and the banks make money from war. Banks from both sides and put paid back from both sides and get paid back from both. Yeah, exactly. These are the guys that are making money. Now, the reality of it is, in my eyes, that is just plain wrong. Okay, and for me, I will certainly back the people, at least from a verbal standpoint. Right now, I don't have the money to do it. Heck, right now, I'm a mess. And World's also going, Apocalypse Now is my favorite Vietnam movie. I really don't know which one is my favorite. I do like movies from the action stand okay, you know, from the action standpoint of a movie. And we must be clear, we are talking about people that they get shot, they get covered in blood, they get blown across the room, they get up, and they go out for lunch with their compatriots that shot them. This is a good place for war. They make for a fabulous movie, they make for fabulous stories, written and verbal. They are useless, in my opinion, they are not a good thing to actually have in real life. What do we got? Emily goes, well, I must have said something, and I don't know what was said. Oh, that's because we're in top chat, not live chat. Yeah, scroll up. Yeah, Big J's going, Rambo was very triggering to a lot of, Vietnam vets. Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, the thing with Rambo, right, was when they filmed that one, okay. Now, I'm presuming you're referring to Rambo First Blood. No, I thoroughly enjoyed the Rambo movie, but, I can see where it would be absolutely triggering for a staggering number of people. You know, for me, I do feel for people because I get triggered by other things. I mean, yeah, I absolutely remember World War One. Okay, not fun. Joe, when he was telling me about or Al rather, when he was telling me about it, okay, he was in tears. This was a 92-year-old that was in tears over Normandy because of the number of people that he lost right beside him. Okay, that's the thing that I look at. It's like, there's the reality of war. Where do we go? Joe goes, "My grandfather is almost 100." Okay, my mom's dad. He was on, what do we got? Oh, he was on a destroyer. Yeah. Well, that's just it. That could have been at 100 years old. Now, he was probably well, he had to have been in World War II. He couldn't have been in World War One. Well, he could be, but he'd be over 100 at that point. So I'd lay odds it was World War II. But the fact of the matter is, being on a boat when somebody's shooting bombs at you, shooting missiles at you, granted, if the missile hits you, you feel nothing. There's a quick flash and you're gone. No, so from my standpoint, I look at this whole thing, like, movies are great. They're great for entertainment, but we gotta remember, in a movie, the guy that gets shot quite often will go out and have dinner with the guy that shot him after they get done cleaning up from the scene. Sometimes before they go get cleaned up. In war, you don't get that. You get shot, the guy that shot you, very few will come and help you, but this is why I say I absolutely do look up to the people, do respect the people that actually put their life on the line, that actually stepped up and said, "I'm going to defend other people." I remember a guy, and he wasn't in the military, but I was outside a bar, and the guy was getting ready to clock me. He literally had me backed up against the wall, and he had me pushed against the wall, and he had his fist pulled back and was going to end up he was ready to hit me. And some kid I knew in school happened to be in town, catches the guy by the elbow, by the back elbow, and pulls him around and says, "I wouldn't do that to you." And he says, "I wouldn't do that if I were you." The guy looks at him and goes, "Why not?" And of course, the chap that pulled him off looks at him and goes, "Well, first of all, I'm hanging on to your arm, but you hit him, he's gonna talk you all the way to the floor." Okay, you know, even something like that, that chap stepped up, and I remember what his last name is. I'm not about to tell you what it was, but his first name was Tom, and he caught this assailant's arm and saved me from a beating. Okay, even that deserves a hats off. Yeah. In most movies, the actors don't actually get shot. No, they usually use blanks and blood caps. You don't end up with holes. Bruises, maybe, from what I gather. Okay, but, some of these people do get hurt during the filming. Absolutely, they do. However, in war, they don't get mildly hurt. These people get scarred for life. Even if they don't take a single bullet, they get scarred for life. Okay? And one of the things that I always look at when we talk about this whole idea of remembering Now, there's this other thing I said I was gonna get back to world, so I figure I'm better before I get lost. When we're talking about researchers going out and stealing, say, and I will say the researchers go out and do the work, and then some other flunky comes along and steals that research that you guys put your blood, sweat, and tears into and put yourselves on the line to go and get the information or to make the discovery. For somebody else to come up and steal it and take credit for it, again, this is something that personally I'm a firm believer. The person that is proven to have done that, okay, absolutely discredit them in their own field. You don't have to tell the world, but discredit them in their own field. Strip them of any accolades that they may have got because they claimed it was theirs. Turn those over to the person in a big ceremony that does say, "Yeah, you really did get ripped off. This is the person that actually did it." Okay, now understand, in the Bigfoot research, you go out in the world, okay? In the science research, you do it in a little room, okay, or sometimes a big room. Joe goes, "As a matter of fact, my grandpa and his brothers were all in the Army war. A few of them have passed away, but I've seen them in the photo." Yeah, and the photos I will and you know this yourself, Joe. The photos do not do justice to what went on, okay? They do not bring the reality of it. You know, I heard some of the clips of people, like, I talked to people that have gone through this sort of thing. I've talked to veterans myself that went through it, and the feelings that come off of them with that kind of a problem is absolutely, it's absolutely heartbreaking. Now, I'm lucky. I never went to war. I've never had somebody shoot me. I've had a lot of people threaten to shoot me, but nobody's actually pulled the trigger. I don't think that counts as the same thing. Okay. With that in mind, okay, those of you that are doing research, that are out there putting the effort in, and yeah, in my field, this happens too. Somebody takes time to write a story. They put all the effort into it, and somebody else comes along. Sadly, a lot of times it happens where the movie makers or the literary agents steal the and steal the book themselves or steal the script and take credit for it. Again, these people should be just like the Bigfoot researchers. Okay, these people should be publicly decimated, publicly in their own field, discredited. Okay, and absolutely blackball them. Do not let them have the spotlight a moment longer than they've already had. That's just my personal opinion on it. Okay, I don't notice I'm not saying kill anybody, because 'cause I'll tell you there's only one problem. And the cops were right. Killing people for doing something doesn't deter other criminals. It does cut down on repeat offenders. You know, the reality of it is, from my standpoint, like, my dad wasn't ever in the war. Of course, in all fairness, my dad was born after World War II. Yeah, Bigfoot's just saying, "My dad was in the Korean War." Whoa. Oh, now you're gonna have to forgive me there. I had to bend down so I could read that. But you're gonna have to forgive me there, Bigfoot world. Um, I recognize the Navy, like, his dad was in the Navy. What I don't know is what, pray tell, does UDT stand for? Okay, he goes, "My brother was in the Gulf War, Marine, a scout sniper. Both made it through. thank heaven, unkilled or wounded. Yeah, absolutely, but still, my hat goes off to them. They stepped up to the plate, okay, and like you said, thankfully, they came home unshot and still alive. Okay, I know what I under like I said, I understand your dad was in the Navy. What I don't know is what Union Delta Tango actually was, or what it stands for. Of course, I was a military brat that was also somewhat reclusive. They explain a lot of why I actually don't know some of the information. Oh, there we go. Underwater demolition team. Yeah. No, that makes total sense. Yeah, a buddy of mine is a surface demolitions expert. Yeah, he goes UDT, the underwater demolition team, that was SEALs before they called them SEALs. You know, and I know that when just being let's face it, we're in the right venue here. What does SEALs I know SEALs isn't an acronym, but what does it actually mean? I'd apologize for asking, but frankly, there's no apology. I intend to fast. What is what is that? Oh, well, yeah. Unfortunately, the reality is most like the military vernacular, and for that matter, in all fairness world, my knowledge of gaming vernacular is somewhat limited. The reason I'm not doing a whole lot right now, this computer is a bit, I'm thinking, probably limited. This is why I haven't done anything in the way of posting, is because 'cause I've only got the one monitor, and frankly, it creates its own complications. But I figure I barely got online today. You know, I was late as it was. What do we got? Wish you could read that. From my standpoint, boils down to this. I absolutely know, for the fact that I have my viewpoints and what have you, am I limited in the knowledge base I have for what is actually used in terminology? Very. Yeah, and like I said, Joe, from my standpoint, boils down to this. War is a great backdrop for a movie. Lots of excitement, lots of action, there's lots of drama, okay, and many of the war movies if you watch. Ken, how you doing? Glad you could join us. If you watch the movies, you even find some parts that are comedy. So they're great for movies, great for entertainment, great for books, okay? They are absolutely a lousy place to spend your day in the living world. For me, and that's where the real big hiccup is. But, for the people that have gone through it, there is no amount of thank you can give them, in my opinion, to make to make the memories go away. You can certainly make them feel at least a little better by saying, "Hey, thanks so much for your service. Thank you so much for helping." You know, and, I haven't seen him come in here. Hopefully, he'll catch up with this. But Black Dragon is missing today. I'm presuming this means that he is involved in things around his end. Okay, but we know, Black Dragon has been very vocal about his you know, so absolutely, and I don't do this very often, I probably should, but definitely a hats off to him if he's listening to this later, you know, which I'm hoping he will. definitely hats off to Black Dragon and a sincere thank you to him personally. I mean, let's face it, I would thank each of you personally if I knew which ones you were actually actually veterans. Like, with World, I know you do a staggering amount of work where it comes to the research and understanding Bigfoot, and doing the hands-on looking for the quantifiable proof. Okay, I'm a firm believer if somebody's doing something well, come right out, give them a pat on the back. Absolutely do it in public if you can get away with it. Okay, you know, if they're doing something wrong, usually I go, "No, pull the person aside, do it quietly, get it out of the way." For those that are stealing valor, for those that are stealing credit for other people's work, I'm not worried about doing it quietly. Okay, and the reason for that is I'm a firm believer that they should actually be denounced right off the bat, you know? But that said, this is just my own personal opinion on the matter. This is why I say Remembrance Day, yes, absolutely take that minute out. Do not worry too much about whether you do it at, 11 minutes after 11 in the morning. Okay, any minute of the day, okay, of any day. Put the effort into remembering the people that made it possible for you to be where you are, that provided you with the opportunity to land on your feet, or in many cases, with the encouragement to get up when you were having a lot of trouble. Nathan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You know I would put your stream up, but in case you missed the start of it there, Nathan, we did discover today that much as I like black coffee, my computer does not. Okay. And unfortunately, my right hand spasmed to the point that my coffee cup and it survived, but my coffee cup went into the monitor and ended up flipping upside down, it ended up dumping most of the coffee onto the keyboard. That laptop ain't working well. As a matter of fact, it's dead right now. Where are we here? Ken, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. Although I will tell you this, Ken's going, Bigfoot is interdimensional. I will give you this. You and Dave will get along quite well on that assessment. But will I call it interdimensional? Not a prayer. Oh yeah, there's no question Bigfoot live up in Northern Ontario. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they get called different things. I mean, we've got Bigfoot a lot of places. In the Northwest, we call them Sasquatch. In the snow, up north in the snow, they call them Yeti or abominable snowman. I'm still trying to figure out if what people are calling the skunk ape may be another name for Bigfoot. I just don't have the information to know for certain. Okay, but I will tell you, I am a firm believer, and until somebody can prove it otherwise, I'll just stick with it. I may be wrong, but everything I've picked up around them says they are not number 1, they aren't interdimensional in my opinion, because interdimensional doesn't work. Okay, they are I have no doubt it's possible. Okay, it is possible that they are capable of generating or of accessing a local portal. Okay, that is very possible. Yeah, here we go. World's giving us a few others. We got Sasquatch, Yowies, Yeren, Yeti, Almas, Mink, Skunk Apes, all pretty much the same thing. Okay, perfect. Now that answers that. This tells me, because like I said, world, when it comes to your research into the Sasquatch species, okay, the fact you're able to say, yeah, skunk apes and Sasquatch are the same people. Okay, from my standpoint, that's good enough for me to look at it and go, okay, I know where they fit. Yeah, and I mean, and Dave and I have discussed that a number of times. Okay, the problem is everything from my experience, everything you can see that you can see or experience in on our world, okay, in the third dimension, if it is detectable here, it is third dimension. Now, Bigfoot may well have the capacity to vibrate so fast that they disappear. Okay, they certainly have remarkable camouflage skill. Oh, world goals grudgingly admit they are related. Maybe a good way to put it. Absolutely. See, I look at it this way. Let's take a look at all those names you just listed, world, and we'll call those races and call Bigfoot itself the species. Much like we have the human species, then we have Caucasians, we have Negroids, we have the Orientals, we have the Eastern Indians, we've got the Aboriginals, all different races inside the same species of human. Okay, so, and of course, like many humans, I'm sure that individual Bigfoot get called other names are not repeatable by company either. And much as Bigfoot itself, as the species itself, on the whole, is a genuinely passive animal, passive creature, passive human, a entity, call it what you will. There are those that are aggressive. They do exist. Okay. There are people from the most aggressive countries in the world that are absolutely passive. Well, that I would agree with that world. That's very much like human. Now, the dimensional veil, not so much. But can they jump from one part like that's what I mean by consciously accessing portals. Portals like on planet, we're talking local portals, do exist and you can access them if you either instinctively know how to do it or you're trained. And I have no doubt that they have been trained to do that, and that would be taught by their own parents. Just like if you're a mechanic in this world, odds are your own parents may well have had a mechanic an impact on that. Oh, absolutely, world. The funny thing with the Bigfoot shaman is they do know how to work with life energy. And let's face it, Earth has a staggering amount of life energy that can be worked with. This is one of the reasons why I can heal at the speed I do. Okay. Too bad my computer doesn't heal that way. I mean, the reality of it is, and again, when I talk about remembering those that step up to protect their people, their family, their community, their country. This applies to the Bigfoot and other species as well. Okay, this is not just relegated to humans in my eyes. This is relegated to every species that is available, whether they are what humans call sentient or not, is of little concern to me, if none. Okay, of course, in my opinion, I'm a firm believer that if we give credit where credit is due, and that means if you're stepping up to the plate to help people, give them credit. If you're stepping up to hurt people, Well, acknowledge the fact they're doing it, but don't make it public. What do we got? Yeah, absolutely that world's just saying, just like a martial artist in, like, a martial arts school, they will train you, but you don't get to go training everyone else. It seems certain groups and have abilities other groups don't have. This is true in every species, in every walk of life, every civilization. Okay. I mean, you take a look at you, world. You've got a natural gift or a natural drive. Much of it learned the hard way. I'm betting you didn't sit down in a classroom to study how to go and track Bigfoot. You probably learned it in the field, likely with other mentors, and you know who those would be. I'm betting it wasn't just a question of trial and error on your part. Lord knows where it comes to my knowledge. Very little of it is learned in the class. Of course, I don't think they have a class for most of it. But, and again, I really do you guys are spending this is Remembrance Day, and you guys have chosen to share your time with me. I cannot say thank you enough for that, okay? Because, honestly, it's one of these things I look at going, "This is something" to me, it's very important. To you, maybe not, okay, but I am a firm believer that, yeah, as long as we are helping people, as long as we put the effort into helping each other, we will be absolutely, you know, we will produce a next generation. We've got to lead by doing. And this is one of the reasons, you know, world goes, I wish there were more classes on it. I didn't have a mentor, which is why it took me 45 years to get this far. Okay, I stand corrected. Okay, but yeah, you've stuck with it. Mine is like my background in alien abduction and what have I didn't get a mentor either, thankfully. You know, bad news, Big J. Middle class America is still there. Okay. But the thing is, middle class financing seems to be going the way of the dodo bird. Okay. And that's not just in the States. Okay. What I have found is that there are three levels of thinking. Okay, and that's where I look at the class size of it. Three distinct ones. There are variations. You've got those that are poor. These are the people that sit on the bench and go, "Give me money because I don't wanna get up and move. I've got no motivation. I've got no support." Now, sometimes this is because they've had no support, but those are the ones that are actually middle class thinking. I desire to work. I desire to support myself. I don't know. This is what I call true ignorance. So you've got people that go, "I don't wanna work. I desire to have a handout." And this is absolutely the biggest problem we have where the biggest contributor to those people that go, "I'm going to claim I was in the military so I can get benefits." This is wrong. The people that are thinking in terms of, "Give me a handout. I don't desire to do anything to get it, but give me a hand." This is the poor thinking. Okay. Usually it results in a lousy lack of income or in addition to go the way of the debt that really create a problem. Then you've got middle class thinking. I desire to work for every dollar I earn. One way or another, I'm going to work. Sometimes they choose a bad profession. Okay. An example of a bad profession. I'm off, you hit me. Okay. This is not a good profession because it conflicts with karmic law, unless you're suicidal. Okay, that being, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Okay. However, then you have your upper class mentality. I've got more stuff than you, therefore I'm better than you. This is upper class and no class at the same time in my and yes, I've talked to people that have had that were millionaires. Remember one guy, he told me that I was working for a country club at the time, and he looked at me and goes, "Yeah, go get" he goes, "You go get me a beer, go get me a drink." I looked at him and went, "No." And I mean, I've told that story before. The point being, I don't see somebody's pocketbook as a way of telling if they're decent people. Absolutely, that big J. And yeah, like you, I'm anti-complacent. Okay, I mean, I'm lucky. I haven't seen him come in here tonight. Matter of fact, I haven't seen either one of them come in tonight. But, it really is I phoned Frank up the moment that my computer took a drink of coffee. Okay. He was on the phone with me for an hour working on this computer to make sure that I could get online today, which is why I was a little late. Yep, the world goes upper class mentality. Do unto others, then split. Okay. It was like my game master back in the '80s used to have a variation on that. Do unto others as you think they're going to do unto you. Do it first and then split. Now do understand, this was a game master, okay, and they're just known for being a little twisted on occasion. No offense there, world. And Big James goes, "You can fool some of the people some of the time and jerk the rest off, and we're just gonna leave that alone." Celeste, what do we got here? Celeste going, I'm super late, but I'm here. Celeste, thanks so much for joining us. And, I'm absolutely shocked at the number of people that are actually here today. But the reality of it is I was late getting here myself. Oh, there we go. World goes, Black Dragon is out patrolling his well, patrolling his dire swamp and blasting some adventurer interlopers with his acid breath weapon right now. Oh, okay. Well, at least he's occupying himself. But, this is Remembrance Day. This is the day, this is the day that globally people are going, "This is what we do." I'm a firm believer that November 11th I kinda get stuck on it because I remember them all the time. Celeste goes, "I'll have some bacon in honor of Dragon later." That's an excellent idea, an excellent idea. I just don't know if I actually have any bacon here. Lord, I think the problem there I looked at bacon today while I was at the grocery store, but the price they were charging for it was, to say the least, stupid. So, I mean, I wasn't going at this point. Usually, I can get a rasher a package of bacon for, like, 5 or 8, between 5 and $7. They had it there listed today at 15. Now, maybe I misread the label. I don't know, but I certainly wasn't gonna pay that. See, now we've got this going on here, and now we can look at this, and when Black Dragon comes in, he can see that, yes, we actually did recognize the fact that the Bacon Master was not here. There we go. Yeah, you had mentioned that, Nathan. Thankfully, you got home in one piece. I know we had a situation here. The situation I know of is they had the Remembrance Day ceremony this morning. I don't know how that went, 'cause frankly, I stay at my house. But I do know that it was pouring rain. You know, I look at this whole situation that we're dealing with. Okay, this is if there ever was a time, this is the time to really look in the mirror and go, "Number 1, thank you to everybody that has really helped put you in the play, has really helped you when you've been down, has stepped up to the plate. Veterans, hats off to all of you, okay?" And I'm referring to whether you got shot, whether you stood on the front line, whether you were supported, doesn't matter. You're still part of a massive machine. Yeah, no doubt there, Joe. No doubt at all. Joe's just saying, when Black Dragon comes on, there's never a dull moment. And absolutely true. From my standpoint, I cannot thank people and thank veterans enough for that. Eternity, how you doing? Glad you can join us. This has been a little bit of a scrambled day. Okay. The fact I got here at all was remarkable. You know, and again, guys, okay, I do apologize for not putting the links up today. But that said, for those of you, and this is in this case specifically, world and nation, if you'd be kind enough to put your links up, that would be great. Okay, so that people know where they can find you. Oh, I'm well. My computer's dead though. Turns out, Eternity, that my computer does not like black coffee, and the screen really didn't like the cup when it hit it. So I'm working on an older computer right now. Okay, I have one monitor that was dying anyway. The computer was having a little bit of trouble. Turns out you take a full cup of coffee like this, even if it's black, and this is the cup that actually went into the computer. Okay, you take a full blown cup of black coffee, and it turns out computers don't work well after that. No, but yeah, if you guys would be kind enough, if you can, and if you got the links to the other people, if you got the links to your own show, definitely put it into the chat room. That would be really greatly appreciated. What do we got here? This is where, like, I'm used to working on 3 monitors. Right now, I'm working on essentially a patchwork, but there's World's link. Okay, so absolutely drop in, give him if you like what he said, do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights of uh, World has done virtually always here supporting us here, okay, and helping keep things moving here. You know, and honestly, in my opinion, how we doing? World's going, I'll be showing several clips of actual Bigfoot call on video. Oh, that's fantastic. Now that's tomorrow at 8 or Sunday. 8 Central makes it 6 Pacific. I'll be done with my game tomorrow, which means I will have to make an absolute point of being in there. Assuming things are running well. Right now, I'm kind of working on limited input, but we'll see what no, but this is what I say, really a good idea to go and watch, 'cause if World's putting it up on his show, he's already verified as far as he can that it is legitimate, so it's not something that, World will not go, "I filmed this," if he didn't film it. Okay. Now, I honestly don't know, World, if you know who all does the filming when they send you stuff. What do we got? Oh, well, you're gonna screw me up on that one there, world. What, pray tell, is a TPK? You know, the nice part about it is usually our game ends at 3 PM Pacific, meaning 5 PM, you know, 5 PM Central, which means as long as I make certain I keep my energy levels running right, there shouldn't be a big problem with it. You know, I just have to watch it. Like today, I got to bed at 4 o'clock this morning, was back up at 6:30, and then ended up grabbing a couple hours later. Oh, there you are. Yeah, and that's why I said earlier there, world, my knowledge of the acronyms and the vernacular of the military and of gaming for that matter is, to say the least, okay. I mean, to say the least is stunted, but it doesn't mean I don't enjoy the game, obviously, you know, and, this is why I say, I've got a lot of time spent, but then I've been reclusive pretty much all my life, starting in, you know, 1968, started pulling away from people. My whole social skills was developed around a gaming table. Okay, that was where I learned how to talk to people at all, and then where it came to talking to people away from the gaming people, I learned from a former arm breaker of a bike game, you know, so I mean, from that standpoint, I'm quite willing to acknowledge my shortfalls, you know, and in all fairness, at only 5'8" when I fall, it's not a very long drop, but when we look at what's going on, remember, we cannot change what's happened before. What led to where we are now cannot be altered. What can be altered is the path you're currently on, okay? And this is why I say, do what you can, know, and I love the way it was put at one point, do what you can to help the people around you. Absolutely. But that being said, I have a major problem with people taking credit for things they did not. This is extremely, extremely important and prevalent in, first and foremost, the military, where we have stolen valor. Absolutely one of those crimes that I don't know what the best punishment is, except maybe sending them off to war so we get a chance to see what it is, except for the fact I don't agree with war. Okay, and, next to them, same idea of stealing credit for people's research or stealing credit for people's creative endeavors. You know, these are things that you falls under karmic law. Do unto others as you desire them to do to you. If you didn't do the work, do not take credit for it. Okay. In one of my newsletters, I actually posted a few little little glimmers. I don't know what the actual term for them, but at the bottom of them, I literally wrote "author unknown" because I didn't know who the author was. Okay. Actually, in one case, one poem where I knew who wrote it, and he's never for it. At least not, I've never found the poem. I found the poem written a lot. Okay, and that a gentleman well, the poem is uh, and that poem, one of the lines, I think it's the 2nd stanza, it literally goes, "Can't is the word that is foe to ambition." Now, I'm sure you guys have heard the poem before. I know it off by heart. That was the one line in it that I ever totally remembered, and one of the deciding factors of why I do not believe in the term "can." But my father actually told me, passed it on to me a long time ago, and I don't know who's been giving credit for it. All I know is that my father said that particular poem was originally written by the actor Danny Thomas. I'm sure some of you recognize that. He apparently wrote it for his daughter because she was really ill, and he wrote that poem as a way of encouraging her to fight through it and carry on. Now, what she had, I don't know. I do know that according to my father, Danny Thomas was the one who wrote the poem. No, I didn't read it. I just took it to heart. But, I'm looking at this, I am so grateful. It's a good thing I had this computer, in my opinion. It's a good thing I had this computer still hanging around. Susan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I'm absolutely tickled pink live. Okay. I mean, I just about did before. Well, I had a day to remember my computer died. Of course, apparently computers don't drink coffee well. But no, the reason I brought up Annie Thomas is again, if somebody does something that's recognizable, absolutely give them one of the things I see happen on occasion, and I'm no sports fan. I know what sports are, but I see told, you did this, you get recognition, you're on the hall because of this recognition. Then they find out that the person does something wrong. Not that they didn't earn the spot on the world stage. Not that they didn't do the stuff into that hall, but something totally disconnected. And all of a sudden, oh, you're no longer in the Hall of Fame. Well, what you did absolutely was a bad thing, but why pull you out of the Hall of Fame if what you did to get there was honestly your effort? Oh, here we go. World is there we go. And we've got another one here. We have Veterans Day in the States, we have Remembrance Day in Canada, we have America Day in the UK. Where are we? No, world, it's actually up here, it's referred to as Remembrance Day. You know, I don't know what it's called around the world. I'm sure every country has called their own. Okay. And maybe, that's one of those things that, might be intriguing. I'm a lousy researcher, as you know, as you know, but with that in mind, you know, the fact that we've had this time, that you guys have chosen to share Remembrance Day with me, in all fairness, that's something for me to remember right off the bat, uh, is the fact that you guys, with everything else you could have been you've chosen to be here. And honestly, world, your contribution tonight has been outstanding. Quite often, you're in there, you do participate, you're almost always here, but, it's been remarkable. And, I will be upgrading my whole system now, I don't have a choice. The other one died. You know, so I'm gonna have to go looking into that, but it may be a few weeks before I can get it done. Black Dragon, you are here, Semper Fi. And absolutely, I mentioned this earlier there, Black. Okay. Absolutely, hats off to you, and thanks so much for your service. No, The fact of the matter is, you're one of these people that legitimately put the day, and put the effort in. You deserve a hats off. You deserve to be, and of course, as we've been talking, if you go back through the chat room here, through the past chat, you'll find that, yes, we did remember that the big master did not show up early. Okay, we presumed you were a little preoccupied, but I am glad you managed to pop in. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always been an easy one. I just don't remember it on only one day. Yeah, and see, Black, you've infiltrated more than just yeah, it's not just a case coming into this chat room. You've gotten into all sorts of things. I was busy finding holes in my eyelid. Oh, okay. One of those days has it. Black Dragon, just a real quick note for you. Okay, I don't know if you drink coffee, but I do know that computers don't. Okay, mine was having trouble, and as Frank pointed out, he goes, you know, Frank turns around and goes, "Oh, so it's having trouble, so you drown it and put it out of the freezer." The reality of it is, to me, people talk about Veterans Day, Remembrance Day, America Day, whatever, okay, about spending and remembering. I'm telling you, it is a fantastic day to also remember and spend time with family. To me, this chat room is more family. Well, in all fairness, the chat room here and the one over at Spaced Out Radio, okay, are places I really look forward to getting to. I don't get enough time, primarily because energy levels to actually get into your other rooms. I am making a point and doing my best to make a point of making that happen. Okay, what do we got here? You know, the reality of it is, this is still to me, this is a microcosm. This is what I would like to see the rest of the world start emulating. Yeah, Black Dragon goes, "My breath is worse than acid, especially after goat cheese with garlic." See, I don't honestly know if I've ever had goat cheese. I've had garlic. I've had just, and I've tried blue cheese, that I'm not dumb enough to go back to. That, though, I just don't like. Absolutely. I believe that in world, and you're probably gonna look at me and go, "Are you completely off your nut?" But that's Cinco de Mayo is that Cinco de Mayo, that in that particular holiday. And yes, I do know Cinco de Mayo and de Mayo. I think that's down in Mexico. I really am trying to get into the 21st century sooner or later. I've gotten a little way through the door, but with that in mind, we are hitting the 2-hour mark here. So I'm gonna have to do something about something because, well, frankly, I haven't today. Of course, killing my computer was just rude. Okay. What do we got here? For some people, Halloween is when they remember departed family members, or partially departed ones anyway. Vampires, zombies, leashes. Yeah, absolutely. And of course in D&D, hanging around with the dead is just part and parcel. Oh, speaking of which, just a neat little side note, because I hadn't played solo for a while, the campaign we had been working on, both the game master and I forgot about. Didn't know where we've been standing. So, I have started a new character, okay, in a solo campaign, but he's a professional gladiator. Problem is he's just shy of 3 feet tall. Where are we here? Yeah. World goes as Malacaster, Grim Necromancer says, "A half-life is better than none at all." So, yeah, let's keep out of the sun. Ah, yeah, there's a lot of holidays, and in all fairness, I'm a firm believer that remembering who came before you or who gave you the step up, when you required it, when you desired it, that sort of thing. Absolutely, these are people to remember. Remember, family is not always bloodline. Okay. Now, we are reaching the 2-hour mark. Again, if you like the stream, do give us a thumbs up, that would be appreciated. Do subscribe to the channel. Drop in on World Bigfoot stream and on Nathan's stream, okay? And, pop in, give them a listen. If you like what they have to say, do give them a thumbs up as well, and share the daylights out of all of it. Because I'm telling you, working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to call it a night. But thank you so much for sharing your time with me tonight. That has really been appreciated. Okay. Until then, until we talk again, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sake, stay positive.